So as usual, we'll grab our blindfolds and we're going to do this practice sitting up. And we're going to spend about 10 or 15 minutes doing the mindfulness of breath practice that you've already learned here. And I'll just guide us through the introductory phase quickly since you're so familiar with it. We want to balance the head between the shoulders, balance the torso over the hips. When these two areas are balanced, our neck and our back muscles are more relaxed. And we're not putting pressure on our ankles or feet. Check that we're not clenching our jaws and we're not clenching the pelvic floor. That as you breathe in, your belly is moving nice and free, nice and loose, expanding on the inhale, contracting on the exhale. Checking your eyes and your eyelids, would they prefer to be open or closed, which takes the least effort. And finally, applying a little bit of a smile, lifting the corners of your mouth. And so we'll continue silently for the next 10 or 15 minutes, just feeling the breath moving in and out, feeling our abdomen moving with every breath, that nice massaging sensation inside our body, feeling the enjoyment of the smile and how it affects our body and our emotions, and even the soothing quality of breathing slowly, naturally. So we're not only mindful of the breath moving in and out, but we're mindful of the pleasure gained from smiling and from feeling the stomach moving, and the pleasure of just being mindful of those pleasant sensations altogether. And then just let any thoughts flow freely in the background without paying any attention to them. now we'll shift our attention to a concept of filtering. Think of a situation, ideally one that comes up during your meditation lately when you're distracted. But it doesn't have to be. It could be something that comes up when you're having a conversation with a friend, or when you're mulling things over, when you're stuck in traffic. A situation that you generalize as being terrible, or bad things are happening, or they're not happening the way you want them to, or they could be better. Things are just not good. Or a person in your life who you perceive as generally bad. Maybe a coworker who's frequently making mistakes, or the work they're doing is impacting your ability to work. Or a relative who you perceive as negative because lately they're just not treating you the way you think they should treat you. I'll be silent for the next minute or two while you decide which kind of situation or person or topic that you've dealt with in the past that you generalize as being bad. You'll know you've selected a suitable candidate for this practice today when, having thought of them or that situation, your mind automatically starts rolling on the same old rant. And this is called filtering, when the object of your rant, you're only able to see all the bad about them, everything that's wrong with them or with the situation, all the ways it's broken, going in the wrong direction, dysfunctional, all the ways they're hurtful or ignorant or clumsy, inconsiderate. So that lately all you see is the negative in the situation. You're filtering out the negative and ignoring anything positive or good about them. So now make a list in your mind, and I'll give you another couple minutes for this. Can you think of the top 5 things, or up to 5 things about this person or situation that you've filtered out from the wholeness of them? Top 5 negative, bad, yucky things that drive you nuts, that upset you, that make you angry or frustrated. Think of up to the top 5 of those things about this person or situation. Make a list in your mind. And now that you have a list of several items, take another minute and note how your body feels. You may have noticed a change in your rate of breathing. You may have noticed your pulse increasing. You may have noticed yourself clenching your jaw or clenching your pelvic floor, or other parts of your body that have tightened up. You may have noticed the sense of enjoyment that the smile gave you during the meditation has gone. You might notice other pressures in your head or your heart. So for a minute or so, we'll be quiet while you feel your body, scan your body for how it feels now that you've been ruminating about all the negatives about this person or situation. It may even be difficult to scan your body and your mind at this point because it would be understandable for you to be distracted, that your mind has become speedy and unbalanced because of the emotions coming up from thinking about these negative situations. For the next part of this practice, you'll start by remembering the very first thing or the top thing on your list of things that are bad about this person or situation. Just make a mental list, and this is the first item. And then I want you to mentally analyze this person or situation and find the top thing that is positive about them. Perhaps even something you like about this situation or this person, or a benefit you've received from this situation, this experience with this person. It could even be an organization. It could be school or graduate school. It could be an administration. So you have your top bad thing. Look deeply, find the top good thing about them, and I'll be silent for the next minute. And now come back and remember the second thing that you remember being bad about this person or situation. What was that second item? Okay, now set that aside in your mind, and again look for another positive quality about this person or situation or organization. What is another good thing you know there to exist about this? Just hold it in your mind when you've found it. That's that second good thing. We could call it contemplation. We're just holding it in mind and observing its qualities. And now the third bad thing you remember about them. What was that third thing? Just bring it up in your memory, hold it there, contemplate it. And now set that aside and look deeply into this person or situation. Can you find a third good thing, good quality, good value or experience? Bring it into your memory and just hold it there, observing, contemplating it. And now I'll give you a couple minutes to think of one or two more negative or bad qualities about the situation or person, if there are that many. But bring them up one by one, and after giving one a few moments, think of another positive thing that you can dig up from your memory. And then do it again for the fifth item. What is the fifth bad thing? Then match it with another good quality you can reflect on about them. So we'll do this for 2 or 3 minutes. Then in the next phase, we're going to just set aside all those bad qualities, those negative aspects, and just set them aside in your mind. I'm not asking you to forget them or pretend they don't exist or anything like that. We're just setting them aside for now during this meditation. And look at the list of positives about this person or situation as a group. This multiples of positives. And just focus on that for a few minutes. Contemplate this grouping of positive qualities. Is it possible, as you continue contemplating this grouping of positive qualities, to experience a sense of relief that it's not all bad, and a sense of appreciation for any goodness from this person or situation that has come to you from these positive qualities? Is it possible to feel these things? Do you feel a reduction in tension or negativity in your body from recalling the positive aspects that have always been there, but ignored, filtered out? Just continue contemplating the positives and notice any subtle changes in the sensations in your mind and body. And then we can ask ourselves this very simple question: is this person or situation all bad? Are they truly 100% bad, negative, broken, dysfunctional, having nothing good to offer? Are they all bad? And the answer, hopefully, is that no, they're not all bad. It's just that you tend to filter out the good and focus on the bad. And during this meditation, we see how it makes our body and mind feel when we fail to perceive them evenly or accurately. So bring the bad qualities back in your imagination, and we can mix them in our imagination with the good qualities. So now we have one group that's composed of both negative qualities and positive qualities. You can think of them as beads of two different colors. So what color would you make the beads that represent bad qualities? And what color would you make the beads that represent good qualities? So in front of you is a bunch of beads in your imagination floating in space. Two different colors, but they're combined, like two different kinds of marbles on a table. And this is a more accurate picture, that there's both good and bad at this level. This is more accurate. And notice how perceiving them in this light, not all good, not all bad, but a mixture. How does contemplating that mixture make your body and mind feel? How do you respond internally contemplating this mixture? So this is something you can do spontaneously during any meditation practice when you seem to be stuck in a rut. When your mind is spinning about a certain situation, you can do this contemplation or simply ask, are they all bad? Is that true, that there's only badness? And then do the exercise and see how that shifts your perception of the situation or the person, how that affects your body on the inside. And not only during meditation, but during daily life, you can do this exercise, especially if you're talking to someone else about it. You might start spilling out in the conversation about all the bad, and then you can interrupt yourself by asking yourself silently, are they all bad? And even out your expression about them by remembering the good. And see how much relief that brings you inside. Now, having finished this contemplation, we'll let it go and turn your attention back to the sensation of the breath entering and leaving your body. Allow your abdomen to be loose again, so your belly expands on the in-breath and collapses on the out-breath. And see if you can apply a gentle smile to your face and become relaxed and concentrated on the breathing and the pleasurable sensations in the body. We'll keep practicing this way until I ring the bell. And that concludes the practice.